Welcome to the CaseIT 2025 Finals presentations. My name is Ramiz and I'll be your timer today. As a reminder, the CaseIT Organizing Committee is filming the presentations. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you our judging panel. We have Amrit Brar, Director of BTS Business Management Office from TransLink, Kurt Pregler, Chief Information Officer from TransLink, Brendan McCabe, Director of Enterprise Commercial Business Pacific West from Microsoft, Jerry Ackerman, President and Chair from the CIO Association of Canada, and Tino Finoti, Director of Customer Success from Microsoft. It is also my pleasure to introduce to you our judging facilitators, C.K. Kaligotla from Simon Fraser University and J.M. Gove, also from Simon Fraser University. We are excited for your presentations, but before we begin, we would like to remind the competitors of the presentation guidelines. You will have exactly 15 minutes of protected time to present your solution. At the conclusion of your presentation, the judges will then have 10 minutes to ask questions. At the end of these periods, competitors and judges are not permitted to continue speaking, even if the time ends while they are in mid-sentence. An iPad will be used to time the presentations and the Q&A period. You will be responsible for keeping track of your own time. Please note that competitors are not permitted to reveal their university, country, or city of origin during or after the presentation. And just as a gentle reminder for the audience, please remember to silence your phones. Thank you and all the best. Competitors, you may now begin your presentation whenever you are ready.
I hope you all have your tickets and transport passes with you because we have an exciting journey ahead of us. But if no worries, we have ours. And today we will guide you through the digital transformation of TransLink.
Welcome everyone, we are Sapphire Consulting and I'm here with Mate, Janka, Mate and myself, Timmy. So, dear passengers, we hope you have a wonderful journey. So, the next stop would be summarizing up how the current situation looks like. The challenge you're facing is how to manage the future ridership demand while maintaining sustainability, a cost-effective approach, and also enhancing service experience. With that, our suggested strategy for you is to create a digital twin technology to enhance services, maintain sustainability, and create an operational efficiency for your service. And with that, our main solutions would be twin it to win it and also monetize to maximize. With these solutions, you will reach significant impact on your way. So, let's get on to it. Like, you already built a significant amount of network and also region in this country based on your core values, which are safety for your customers, which is customer experience as well, also innovating ideas and inclusiveness. With this, you have reached, like you see in Metro Vancouver here, you reached 21 municipalities, also within a 3,000 square kilometers region and with 2.7 million residents. But as you can see here, you see the single detached neighborhoods where is projected to be built in several floor apartments. So that's why population density growth is really expected in these areas. So with that, 50,000 new residents annually is projected, and by 2039, is 3.5 million population is expected. So you have to face your challenges this way that align this population growth. And with other operational challenges as well, such as predictive maintenance, which can be more effective if enhanced. Also, delayed data structures and big data from the extensive ridership. And also sustainability challenges such as CO2 emissions and route operational optimization would be more effective for you and your company. So that's why within the industry trends and your capacity services, the systems enhancements must be essential for you. So Mate is waiting at the next stop. I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you, Timmy. So let me tell you a little bit about the digital twin. Basically, it's a virtual representation of a physical system, object, or a process. What can it be used for? So, for real-time data integration, simulation and forecasting, remote monitoring and control, and also life cycle management. But why is it especially good for TransLink? Because it can also be used for predictive maintenance on vehicles, optimize service frequency and capacity, and also to monitor infrastructure. We highly recommend you to use Bentley system to implement the digital twin system, because Bentley system has already have a lot of experience in this field. Like they implemented this system and analyzed traffic in a highway upgrade project as well, where they could save 50,000 work hours and $7 million US dollars for the project team. But how would it look like? So Bentley iTwin platform collects data and converted it to 4D visualization. But how and where this data is coming from? Let me tell the details. So in predictive maintenance on vehicles, there would be IoT sensors on first on the SkyTrain and Rapid Bus, because these are the priorities in Metro Vancouver. So IoT sensors would notice if anything is going to failure in the system, and the goal is to optimize maintenance schedule and extend the lifetime of the assets. With this strategy, overall 25% lower maintenance expenses can be reached with this. Next up is optimize service frequency and capacity handling. IoT and environmental sensors would be placed in the key bus stops and stations, and the goal is to reduce overcrowding and optimize bus and train frequency. And the last one is infrastructure monitoring. IoT sensors would be placed on rails and bridges, and the goal is to reduce maintenance costs and predict failures. Timmy, please continue with the implementation.
Yeah, thank you, Mate. Our next step would be implementation. And for you, we divided the introduction of the solution in 6 phases. So, what's it gonna be the first step you have to take? Strategic planning. You have to plan and preset everything for this solution, such as reallocating workforce, also change management, and also preparing the software for this solution. The next step would be implementing these IoT sensors in a few vehicles and few bus stops to get to know the system, and also receiving the data. The next step would be fine-tuning this AI model you use, and also learning about this data it collects and push it to the business processes you use. And with that, you will be able to pilot test everything you need to do and check the real-time data and vehicles and infrastructure. Also, with that, collecting data would prepare you to plan for the future and validate the optimization plans for this. And also, it would mean that you need to install new sensors within a few years. And with this data integration and operative processes, you will be able to show your corporate dashboards and be a successful implementation of this project. Janka, please continue.
Thank you, Timmy. So after implementing successfully the digital twin technology, it's time to monetize, to maximize. The first step is data collection. So after 3 years of implementing, planning, and operating with digital twin, you will have valuable trends that can be sold to partners. But what partners are these? So we defined 5 main groups of potential partners, which are navigation, mobility, insurance companies, and also real estate and retail chains for location planning, and also municipalities and urban planners in this area. So the data service can be provided through API access for real-time and historical data, and also through strategic data license. After that, the last task is to manage and maintain this monetization. So, in the first year of operation, which is 2028, you can get up to 19.5 million income, calculating in the cost of the sales team. So, it can be stated that with this strategy, you can turn your already existing data into essential and monetizable asset that can be sold and can be a continuous income, which can be the fuel to the future expansion to you. So, the first step of timeline is the strategic planning. The whole strategy can be done within 4 years. The most important part is the end of pilot testing and the launch of the software. After this, you can start the monetization, so from the 4th year, you can realize a real revenue from it. So, moving on to the feasibility and the impacts. If you take a look at the stakeholders and its pain points, you had operation in danger, the riders had service disruption, and also there was a concerning working conditions. So after the whole implementation, you can get a more sustainable operational system, and you can also reach a lower decrease in CO2 to also support eco-friendly operation. For riders, they can experience a 23% of increase in customer experience, and also it can cause a 12.5% of growth in daily transit users. And also your employees can support your goals and your company with a more sustainable conditions, and they can also get the support for the whole transition and the change management. So in numbers, please Mate, tell us more.
Thank you, Janka. As you can see here, we can see that our break-even point is about to happen around 2017. Our major investments are needed in the first 2 years. These are mainly technological investments. We will cover this in a moment. But as you can see, from 2027 onwards, rapid revenue can be achieved. For our calculations, we take into consideration assumptions like 8.5% CAGR in the public transportation market, and also inflation rate, VAT, and also the growing population in the area. Our main KPIs then are a 21.5% ROI and a net present value of 103.6 million Canadian dollars. These are all set by 2030 during our 6-year plan. So let's cover the costs real quickly. We can see that the whole investment will cost during these 6 years until 2030 171 million Canadian dollars. You can see by the blue blocks, those are all technological related costs, which is like creating a cloud infrastructure, implementing the IoT sensors, and also setting up the digital twins. We also calculated with change management and personnel costs, hiring new data scientists and other technical related role people. And also we calculated with the maintenance cost of the system. Sorry, can you help? Let's cover the risk we found. Our main and most substantial risk is around AI and its safety. To mitigate this, we found continuous model training and also the human oversight could help out a lot and mitigate this factor. Also, there are other factors such as like the sensitive passenger data. We collect with IoT sensors a lot of data that should be kept safely and need to be mitigated with intense cybersecurity measurements. Also, from the inner side, we can expect the resistance from the employees to adapt to the new systems, but with comprehensive employee training and upskilling programs, we can also mitigate this factor. To summarize our strategy, we aim to implement digital twins to drive more efficiency into TransLink's system, also make it more sustainable, and with data create a new opportunity to monetize and scale the business. Our two strategic pillars to do this are Twin It to Win It, the implementation of the digital twin, and also in multiple areas and gain data from there. And our goal is to monetize that to maximize the profitable incomes. Although we arrived to our final destination in the presentation, the journey towards innovation begins just now. Let's harness the potential of digital twin technology to twin it to win it. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. In terms of the impacts that you've identified in your proposal, what was the source of the estimates? How did you calculate a 21.59% ROI, 20% improvement in CX, etc.?
Yes. Just you go to our calculations. We identified by each digital twin model the main cost. You can see our whole overview here. So we calculated the cost estimately for each model. We tried to do it as precisely as we could, and also we identified revenues and calculated them from assumptions for how the predictive maintenance could save up money. Also from data monetization, we looked at other cities where it was like monetized similar data, and tried to do a ratio to Vancouver and its size. So these were our main sources that we used for the calculations of the ROI and the NPV.
One of the stats that you showed was a 12.5% increase in ridership. Is that attributed through the digital twin investment or through population growth? Because I know that was also part of that slide. I'm curious what you think is.
I think it was also already calculated the population growth, and because of the predictive maintenance and digital twin solutions. Because if you implement these solutions, you will be able to create a more customer experience friendly service that they will likely to be motivated to use your public transportations. Yes.
I've got one. Maybe just a little deeper on Kurt's question. There's some big numbers in there. 25% reduction in CO2, 23% increase in customer satisfaction, and a 25% reduction in maintenance. Can you go a little deeper, or how did you model that as a digital twin driven improvement as opposed to some other place?
Yes.
Mostly they are based on use cases that we have found, and yes. So every data is based on research, and Timmy, can you just...
Yes, if you can see like this, the predictive maintenance you will be using and implementing reduces unnecessary fuel consumptions, and we also look to other industries and industry benchmarks, how they use the predictive maintenance IoT things, and with these optimized routes, it will be reduce congestion and wasted energy, and by that we ratioed and calculated how much CO2 emissions could have been decreased or saved with this solution. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question about the customer satisfaction. And so you talk about the IoT, using IoT and data to have better schedules and stuff. How do you see that addressing overcrowding and the challenges that customers have there where buses are full? We're going to increase ridership.
With the route optimization step of ours, that digital twin, we aim to adjust frequency to deal with our overcrowding. So based on the data that the sensors collect in busy hours, we tend to utilize the data that we can send out like more buses on a single lane, and also save those resources on elsewhere where the lines are not that busy. Like we don't need that fragment of our service.
I had a question on the, you call it as a risk, you call it sort of employee resistance, sort of change and embracing this platform. You mentioned upskilling and training, which are excellent things. But if you look at sort of, as we move to more like sort of automation and gathering data, and maybe risking human jobs, how would you tackle that around training and upskilling? Like, what is your answer for that?
Sorry, the last part, can you repeat it, please?
What would you recommend as a mitigating factor for individuals who may be pushing back on some of the automation features of some of the things you worked up with that may replace human jobs?
Yeah, I think in the first section of the implementation, there would be also human resources that would be needed for this implementation. So with this new technology, also some more employees also needed, like analysis of like 3D simulation and GIS specialists and data analysis. So in the long term, there could be fewer employees, but also there are other parts of this whole implementation where the employments not disappear, just transform.
Yeah, thank you.
So, one of the things that TransLink is currently facing is a significant annual budget shortfall to the tune of $810 million. I'm wondering if you gave any consideration to approaches to fund that $170 million investment that you laid out for us that would cost us to implement this.
Yes, we did. We did some research how these kind of industries usually fund their projects, and we found that government and transportation development funds would be the first and the biggest part of that would it take to fund this project, and also corporate investment fund would be the other. The second one would be the main funding for this project. Yes.
Can you expand a bit maybe on the public-private partnership approach to funding this type of investment and what maybe the cost sharing structure would look like between TransLink and the partnership?
Yes, it would be a partnership where all in all TransLink and these, for example, Bentley works together, and also these are technology firms who wants to scale up and invest in things. So that's why we raised our research and we found out about that this public-private partnership would be a great way to also have a little bit more money for funding the project.
Can you talk about the sale of the data monetization, and a little bit more about who's going to buy that data and how you thought through that?
So yes, we found use cases of other partnerships from all around the world, and we found that these data can be used for the already mentioned part of life, and mostly. Alright, so we use use cases from all around the world where these companies use for their daily operation the data that we can provide for them that are mainly from forecasting trends, how the riders move in the city, where it is the best decision to open a store or just what plans should they have in the future. Is it a frequented area? These are, or even risking has a high potential, so these are the things that can be used.
Maybe I'll just throw one last one in 40 seconds or so. What if you're wrong? So the costs are front loaded, pay for all the hardware, do all the development, do all the work in the first 2 years, and then suddenly the sales just looks great. Have you thought at all about more of an incremental model in which phases are employed and you kind of test as you go? Did you evaluate that?
Yes, we did. So with our predictive maintenance on vehicles, digital twin, we plan to implement these sensors on just 30% of the vehicles and then move on to the other vehicles. So we don't try to expand like just for everything, just step by step.
The Q&A time is now complete. Thank you to our competitors for your presentation and to our judges for your questions. Competitors, at this time, please feel free to either head to the audience or exit the room with your team host. We will begin the next presentation shortly. Judges, you may use this time before the next presentation to individually deliberate.
Thank you so much.